Welcome into episode 7. And so you can see in the foreground there is, or the background, is I've done some more work on my new base. I think last week we ended up, it was about here or so. And I've spent another, I think, 36 diamond blocks on it. And so far we're getting up, we're getting there. It still doesn't quite render in the whole way. But yeah, so I've got 1/4 of it basically done. And then these two sides are up the part of the way. But I'm pretty well done with this for now. It's hard keeping up with sand and making diamonds to spend diamonds. So I think in the meantime, what I'm going to do is finally make a start on the first island. I'm going to make a end island in about this quadrant, and it's going to house my villagers, an iron farm. I still don't have that designed yet, but basically the idea is, well, you'll be coming in right about here, and I think I want this first island to be one of the bigger ones, so it'll be a bit lower. And then maybe like they'll all be on different elevations, and maybe you can like ender pearl or trident between the two of them. So this will be my project. We're going to work over here. Maybe I'll get a whole bunch of staging or scaffolding and some dirt to mark it out and some lights, because it is dark as all get out in here right now. And we'll start in on the island. The other thing you might notice is in my hand I have an armor stand and a banner. That is because our server very recently have updated and added the armor stand mod, I believe from Foxy No-Tail. And so as I understand is you give a banner, it doesn't have to be gray, it's just I had a gray one, to the armor stand. And as I shift and right click, every time I right click it does something different. So right now it's a compass, and now it's telling me 3 distance from it, maybe? I don't know. I still don't know a whole bunch of all these things. But the important thing to me is back here at the start, first is blank, is this here. This is going to be a very helpful tool. You might not make sense, but there's a green sphere. And then just outside of that green sphere, there is a red sphere. And you might ask yourself, well, what's going on here? So the green sphere is, I believe, 22 blocks from the armor stand, which is how far away mobs cannot spawn. And then the red is the range at which they despawn. So that gives you the sweet spot in between the two of where to make a mob farm. So that is going to be my secondary project for the world, is the spawn, or the nether portal for this area puts me directly into a soul sand valley. Now I believe I've shown that before, but there's 2 things you can do specifically in a soul sand valley, which will be my secondary goals here. So I'm going to make a perimeter. And I want to make a gas farm. I kind of had one started in my old world that was just like a square room with some, what did I have? Wither roses, just to kill the mobs. But I think I've got a chance to make something a bit more elaborate here. So what this armor stand allows you to do when you're in the real world is, if I give it the banner and I tell it I want to see the spawn, the spheres, I have to cycle through it, if you bear with me. There. I've picked this at random as my spot that I want to start my farm off of. And you might not see anything there, but as you come over, you'll see I've been digging it out to the red perimeter. And that's going to allow me, as if I complete it all the way up. Now, we are very high up in the nether here, And you'll see the nether ceiling is right there. So I'm not going up with the farm, but I am going to go down. And I think I've shown this before too, is if I go down here, not very far, it empties out pretty quick and there's not a whole lot left for me to dig. If I can get out here. Whoop. I've got skeletons after me now. Yeah, so you can see up there, well, there's the sphere, and you see how much of it's already exposed to the air. And I've got gas shooting at me down here. So I've been crafting up a whole bunch of glass, and I'll encase down here. Maybe I'll get like an invisibility potion and make it safe. But in behind or off camera, I've been digging it out as well, so that I can get rid of all the area that I want to get rid of. Because not only do I want to make a ghast farm, I don't really need the gunpowder, but I do want the gas tiers. But I've been digging out the perimeter here for the rest of it. And you can see it works. So just to picture this, when I eventually have all this nether gone, I will be able to make a farm. Now, the farm itself I haven't designed yet. I want to have a little conversation because there are some very smart guys or people on this server, mostly that deal with farms would be like Stoic, of course, and then Zach or Ztech is really good with farms as well, to see what the best way to do it. Now, I've gone and done some research for myself. As far as a skeleton farm, I know you want to have it 2 blocks tall, and that way they can't get gassed. And I've seen some farms that get them to spawn and get scared away with wolves, but it seems to not work very well. So I think I want to do is like have one spawn spot, have a space, and then have a glass block, so that the second that they spawn on, the glass block should push them off, and then have a collection underneath. So long story short is clear the nether first and then farm second. But again, this is my secondary goal. The primary goal is to get my new island started in my main base. Here's a little grid of what I'm thinking of. And so this is still, like you can see the center line I've backed off. Each of these is about 10 apart, so that's like about 50 long and about 40 wide. And again, this is just to give me a square footage. There's still plenty of room. I know it's dark and it's hard to see, but there's still lots of room between that island and the outside. So that would let me put another one that size here. Like, I can have 4 islands at least that big, and then a bunch of smaller ones. So I think my next step is to come back in through here and try to make this an organic shape, but use that'll be my guideline. I don't know if I should come in with, yeah, I'll just go right to the building block. I'm going to make this an end island, so I better go collect some end stone and get placing. Well, that kind of gives me the outside edge I'm thinking of. Yeah, so I just want to pass the grid in a bunch of places to make it kind of round. I think next step is I'll get rid of the gravel underneath. And then instead of just making it completely flat, I'll start coming in with some elevations and maybe get like just 2 or 3 block elevation change across it. And then underneath will be a completely different story. I'll have to go like 20 or 30 blocks down because I want it to look like an actual island, like a floating island in the end. And this should give me more than enough space to make an iron farm. I think it's like 25 by 25, so I'll be able to build like an actual building. And so the idea here is there's going to be an iron farm and then just free roaming villagers because they can't go anywhere, right? They're stuck in this space. As long as they still link to the beds of the iron farm, they should be able to just run free. So yeah. Next step, you should see the island completely done on the top anyway. So believe it or not, that's the iron farm and villager setup done. there's a couple steps left, of course. I have to bring some villagers in. But before I bring the villagers in, I wanted to decorate. And I just wanted to get a kind of a sense of the scale and scope of things before I get too far around. Now, what I'm thinking is I'm going to have the villagers free to walk around. I think I'm just going to build a structure that's above this and kind of hiding the actual like iron golem killing platform, and have it open. The lights won't be there. That's just kind of temporary so I can see. I'm going to hide the lights. I'll put some kind of block variation in here as well. I want to get the decoration all done before I bring the villagers in. So like, you can hide the light here, so maybe I put some like birch planks down for slabs so I can hide the lights underneath. I need to bring in some like chorus fruit and stuff like that, but I want to decorate this before, so I'm thinking like this is all angular and triangles, and there's squares, and then the islands are going to be organic, so maybe I'll bring up another shape and do like arches as the main decoration here. So yeah, I'll put like pillars in the corners up to like that level, and then like arch up and over and make some decorations. I've made this all up one block above, so like there'll be stairs to come up and in, and then I can pick a flooring. And again, with the flooring, I can put like a slab flooring, and then I think I've got some, yeah, I can hide lighting underneath so that you don't need to see the flooring or the lights. Okay, here's my event for the day. The last partial update for Minecraft added sneaking that brought you down a quarter of a slab. But what it's done is my crosshairs come down, yes. It looks like they come down, yes. But the actual aiming spot doesn't come down, if that makes any sense. So you're thinking that you're placing a block, but you're going to be placing it half a block lower than it should. Anyways, it's very frustrating. And the only reason I really know that is because all of this work I'm doing, placing all these blocks out here, it's all in sneak mode, and I'm finding that I'm misplacing blocks all the time. Anyway, that's my little rant. So, block palette in here. So this is the end island. Typical end island would be like the purple and the yellow bricks. I don't know if I like that. I kind of like the cyan concrete. I'm going to go with this block palette. I'm loving the cobblestone, the deep slate, and I like these two concretes together. The flooring will have to be different. Maybe that's, yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to bother bringing in villagers until this is decorated. But the beauty of this is I'm on a mushroom island, but the mushroom island ends right there. Each one of these corners is past the mushroom island. I'm in the ocean. So all I have to do is build a platform out here, wait for night, of course I'll be a little bit farther away than that, but shoot off all the mobs that aren't zombie villagers, bring at least 2 in there. That's all I need. Convert them and let them populate. The beds are all set up. All I need is a couple of workstations and some food, and I can turn 2 zombie villagers into, I've got 30 beds here. And that's going to spawn 3 golems, and that's going to make all the iron I could ever need. The other part of this too is I'm going to have to go underneath and make a storage. Right now that's hopper chain, just deadheads right there in the blue concrete or the cyan concrete. I think I'm going to do an auto sorter and actually just compost the poppies, turn them into bone meal, and store the iron. I guess cats will get born too, so I can put string for one. But what I'll do for that is I'm gonna have to come down underneath, and the underneath of this still has to get done too. So I have to go back to the end, and I've already used 2 shulkers of endstone. I'll have to pillar up from underneath and then do the underneath, but that can really wait. But I'll get in under here and put a floor in and to do the auto sorter. I don't really expect to AFK here a lot, but this will just be a source of iron for me. I know like you can do this bigger and wider, and this is just to catch the cats, that's to kill the golems. It's pretty simple. This is a design by Stoic Epoch. You can find his build online. I should hopefully be able to link it in my description. But yeah, it's a block copy of his design. I think we're running kind of late already. I'm going to cut and then we'll come back. Hopefully I've got some kind of sort of design done. So I waited for dark and I bridged out there to get some mobs, and you can see maybe I had some accidents. Creepers like to spawn and blow stuff up, but what you can see now is I've cured 2 zombie villagers. I've put down a couple of cutting blocks and they have started to make babies. So all I have to do is keep throwing these guys food and they should populate this all by themselves. Now I shouldn't see iron golems, I think, until I get about 10 villagers. I'm going to kind of hang out here and just try to breed them up and get it filled. Get at least 10. I want to hear the first villager, or the first iron golem before I call it kind of done. Now, there's still lots of decorations to do. I'm not saying I'm done. I've got the arches, I've got some copper cooking for the roof. I just want to hear iron golems spawning up there and not down here. So we'll go through a couple of day-night cycles, get some villagers bred, and I'll get back to you. Well, it is the end of day 1, just 1 day of breeding. I've got a couple cats. I have heard cats dying up in the trap, but I mean, look at what these guys have been doing. These 2 villagers have made 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 14, they've made 14 villagers or so. I don't know why they won't all go to bed. 2 of them have linked to the same bed. I'm hoping this will all just sort itself out. No iron golems yet. I think I need to have like 4 adults working in the daytime to get iron golems to spawn. But come on guys, figure it out. Come on, pick a bed, get in it. He wants that one. I don't know. Shouldn't be that complicated. I thought they linked them the second that they were in the area or that they were born. Who knows? Oh, you picked one. I just wanted to get a final count. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's a cat. So 17, they bred 17 times in 1 day. Huh. Not a bad job. And we'll come back when I hear an iron golem. And there's end of breeding day 2, and I've finally got some adults. Look at this. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 adults so far. I thought these babies are having a hard time reaching the top bed, but they've all worked. The time they wake up in the morning, that guy just turned into an adult then. This should be pumping. Like, I'm gonna sleep through the night and see if I get an iron golem. Oh, come on. Come on. Still bothers me that there's cats out here. They're still breeding. Well, let's wait another day. It's happening! It's happening! It's happening! Number one! Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at this! It works! It works! It works! Look at them all! Look at all the happy people! Iron Farm works! Works! Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, we can check this one off. Now I need to get some storage. Well, I logged out and came back in, and there is a problem. There's cats still, but yeah, there's golems free. So I've done something wrong. I'm not sure where they're spawning from. I don't know. I'm gonna have to kill them, I guess? I don't know. Yeah. And if he's spawning, then they're gonna keep spawning. And he can't get to his bed, so I've obviously not done something right. The worst thing is that, yeah, you know what? See, they're spawning up there. Can you sleep now that the nitwit's gone? What's your problem? I can see now why people just make stalls. So I was hoping to have these guys freewheeling. But I'm gonna like watch this and see where the iron golems are coming from. And hopefully I can fix it without having to tear it down and rebuilding it. So I've gone through, this is day 6 I've been watching, and I had cats and an iron golem spawning on that block. I put one carpet down and nothing spawned since. So I don't know if I've built this one block away from where it should be, but that carpet shall stay there, and maybe I'll just fill the whole thing across. But yeah, so if you've made it this far and you'd like to leave a comment, I have a question of, should I leave this copper as copper, as like the natural state and wax it, or should I leave it to age? There's a little bit starting to age over through here. Should I stop it halfway through? And then of course I've got to continue decorating. I've got like I don't like the squareness of it all. So I'm gonna bring these in out, maybe a little bit, change it to walls. You know, play around with the decorations. Maybe I put some fences in through here to block it up. But for the most part, I want to say it's completed. It works. I guess get some steps in here for these poor guys so they can reach the top shelf. Get up there, buddy. They get to the point they just can't pathfind to it. And then they realize they can. But no, I'm really happy. Not overly necessary, but it's just one of those stages of builds where you've got an iron farm. Now I can build hoppers and not have to worry about it. Things like that. So yeah, questions about decorations is how am I going to finish the ceiling? I'm kind of liking the difference, but maybe that's 4 colors is too much. Maybe it should just be 3. I don't know. So I'd love the feedback. But that's pretty much it. We're gonna switch over and try to get some work done on the upcoming skeleton farm. I've been doing some prep work, and this might not look a whole lot different here from what you're used to. It's because the armor stand, I have it turned off for now. Well, just set to a different standard. But you can adjust this back around to see the spawn sphere. And the general idea is I want to be making a farm between these 2 spheres. This is the despawn sphere, and that is the safe zone basically. So between here and there, which is about 22 or so blocks, is where you want to concentrate all your spawns. And I'll just show you the work that I've been doing. So it might look a little bit different down here. We haven't really been down here much on camera. But I've started putting a perimeter of white glass. And you can see I've squared it off to the outside perimeter of this. Now it's bigger than it has to be. I know it is. For some reason I'm taking on more than I need to for tasks, but generally it's done. So this little line represents basically the separation between where the blue meets the green. So the idea is the farm you want to make wants to be in about this area because it keeps it inside of the red circle. But the other problem is it has to be up that high where it's still inside of the sphere. So the farm's going to be way up almost to the roof. So all of this down here was dug out simply to reduce the spots where mobs can spawn, thus concentrating them all up in where I want them to be. So to kind of give you an example of that, if I can fly up there, it's kind of hard to see. I left that sphere on for a second, and maybe let's get up there and turn it off. But I wanted to show you how well it works, and I'm not even done yet. So yeah, you want the farms want to be in this kind of space out here. But you can see I still have one little ledge left up there to do. And maybe we'll just fall into it here. So let's just break the ground and hopefully I fall into it. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, sure. And you can see all of the skeletons that are going to spawn up here. See, the idea is basically the spawn cap will be filled in the farm. And then the farm's got to be a design to where I clear them out as quick as possible to get them to respawn. So if I can get 8, 10, or 12 of these guys constantly spawning in here, I should then be able to get a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of bones. Because you should be able to see, as quick as I can kill these guys, they should basically respawn. See, another one spawned in over there. Now, how I do that is going to have to be to next week. I've still got a couple ideas that I'm working on, and I've talked and been on a test world with Stoic on a design he made a long time ago, and ZTech on this world has a blaze spawner that I'm going to try to steal a little bit off of that. So I'm kind of like Frankenstein a couple of builds together and see if I can come up with something that's going to make a lot of bones. Enough bones that I should be able to like build willy-nilly with them. So yeah, that'll be next week. The iron farm is up and running. That's working fine. The other thing for next week is it is now April, and Stoic has started an April build-off. So the basic idea is he has a little secret area, what we'll show next week, of where he wants us to build specific design of futuristic build with specific demands on size. And we're going to go there and try to start a build. Actually, let's head over there right now. Yeah, so back to the Nether Hub, and this is Stoic's tunnel to his concrete shop, as well as the April build-off area, which is just right through here. Community event. So Stoic has expanded a road off of his main area, and I don't want to like spoil builds, but he's extended a road out here and given build plots. So there's more than enough for everybody. And the idea is he's provided with a lot of the building blocks that you would need to do a futuristic build, mostly like a concrete and glass and stuff like that. And it's kind of like helping him also flesh out his area. And maybe you guys have seen this too in the recent, like the last patch or last update. The load times on screens have been really bad. So yeah, he's extended this highway out from his main area, and he's cordoned off build areas with colored wool, and you can pick your own plot and build for there. So like this white area would be a build plot, then purple, and then yeah, and this is his little depot for building blocks. So I have to pick a plot and a build up through this little valley. And I'm kind of thinking maybe up here on this corner, because there's the road coming in. And my initial thought for a build, when I think of futuristic, and maybe this is an homage to there's a couple of people on our server from England, is I want to try to represent the building, I think it's called the Gherkin in London. It's a big like domed egg kind of shaped building. Anyway, that's kind of my deal for here. I've got a month to do it and a lot to lay out. Maybe I want something a little bit flatter. I don't know. Yeah, some people started some builds over there too. So this is going to be cool. Like all these plots are going to have great big futuristic buildings on it. It's going to look really cool. But that'll be next week. So yeah, I've got 2 projects already online for next week. This big build and the bone farm. And then I still have to finish up my base. I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of things to do. But I've already spent a lot of time this week between episodes, so let's give her a break and try for next week. Okay, well, going back in time here, for today's tips and tricks, I brought you way back to my old single player world, because I want to talk about my villagers and what I tend to do. And you might notice that there's a lot of blue in this building. So what I like to do with villagers, it's a simple, well, I can't even fly in this world. What I like to do with villagers, it's kind of a simple, like this is way back before I could even do redstone or looking at builds. This was my attempt at a villager farm. So there's villagers inside. It's also an iron farm. And it's also a raid farm. So, like most iron farms, there's villagers, and then there's a spawn platform for the iron golems to spawn onto. And it doesn't have to be this big. And I know things now that I didn't know back then. But the iron golems will spawn next to the villager's bed and get washed down and get washed into a kill pit. In the same way as if you have a raid triggered, the raid wanders into here to try to get to the villagers, and they fall down into the same pit that the iron golems fall into. And so this is the only difference, is this is kind of inside out to what most villager setups are. And I mean, to each your own. Do it however. The idea of this is just simply a water trap. So all my villagers are in here, labeled. You know, this was a beets and whatnot. And I haven't been on here since like 1:15, so half of them aren't linked to their workstations anymore or linked to their beds. So it's, I'm not even sure if it's really making iron golems much anymore. But this always did work. Like my resources to trade to the people are right above them. So yeah, and I had a couple layers on here. So for every 10 villagers past 20, so you get an extra iron golem. Anyways, the point would be is I could get up to 3 golems because I had 30 or 40 villagers. So yeah, they just get washed down in here and washed into the kill basin. Now I've put a little door in here for myself, just so that in case I ever did fall in, I could get through. But yeah, they just fall in and all their bits fall into there. And this would give you, of course, the iron for the iron farm. And I mean, it works. I've got all that. And then all these regular mob drops. And then also, because you could trigger raids, yeah, the raids would fall right in. So how about I go trigger a raid and we'll be right back. Yeah, so this brings back memories. I haven't been here in a long time. It's my old nether hub. And I had a raid tower right out here. So just off a spawn, I'd found a raid tower. And this was the way I used to do raids. Is I didn't know that you could set one up right at the tower itself. So I'd come out here for Bad Omen. And just go back and forth. But also, there's always the wandering pillagers to get your raid from, to get your Bad Omen from. So this, like I said, this is an early low-tech kind of version of a farm. It's not like at the highest efficiency, best rates, any of that. This is just a simple, if you can make a villager, a place that holds villagers, just simply put a water trap underneath of it. Let's see, do we have a banner guy? We have got a banner guy right there. And the world, ooh. There, we get our, we have it. Let's go back to the farm and watch a raid happen. So the great thing about this is low tech. If you can get a shovel or a pickaxe, you can dig a water trench. And because raids only are supposed to spawn above ground and they're attracted to the villagers, they get pulled right into the water trap and you don't have to do a thing. So you can basically AFK it at a low level, like no gear, start of the game. I forget I made all these tunnels out of stone. And this is the homage for the current big build. It's all the pyramids we used to make back on this world. So this should put me in, as soon as I spawn in, it should make a raid. Well, the old PlayStation world kind of corrupted and spawned a raid underground. So I gave up and I came to the old realm. And this is Jared's house. And he's made the same basic farm over here. So there's a villager set up and then there's a water trap. And I've spawned a raid in this world to show you, hopefully they spawn above ground here, and show you how easy it is for a raid to be killed in this raid setup. And hopefully things spawn. Usually they spawn either over there or over here somewhere. Well, there they are. And you'll see they're going to aggro to where the villagers are. And usually they run straight into the water trap. And sometimes they'll aggro on you if you're standing too close, but they fall right in. And Jared's set up a little bit different. They travel down a little bit farther. But eventually they all just kind of filter into the middle. This should be spawning golems too. I believe his still works. Yeah, spawning cats. So it's kind of fun too. Sometimes the iron golems will be fighting them as they're in the water trap. So you can kind of see them down there. They just kind of filter their way in. And if I had a ranged weapon on me, I would pick them off as they go. You can go AFK inside of the villager setup. Just kind of chill out here if you want. Keep doing your trading if you want to. They'll be right down there, and this is his old way down in. So yeah, you can just watch them, they'll die in here. You can see the raids finishing there now. That's raid 1 gone. The second wave will come in and they'll keep filtering down in. So yeah, this works as quite a simple, I mean, this has provided all the iron for this whole realm. And there's up to 12 of us, and Jared's been filling these chests up from time to time. Starting over here, wrap all the way around. And then he's got all the totems from it and all, you know, everything else. See, there's some iron golems. It's kind of funny to watch the iron golems fight the raid. But the raid will trickle in. Let's go see where they're from. Sometimes they get stuck because this was kind of built right in the middle of everything. You can hear the golems die. And there's the raid over there. So they just eventually, they'll catch on to where the villagers are and jump right in. I mean, this is a bigger gap. They don't think they can make the jump. They just work them, so they seem to have no care about it. Wherever the villagers are, they try to get to it and they'll just walk right into the trap. They'll fight the current for a while sometimes, depending on how you have it set up. But yeah, this is a very simple way to do things. However you do your villagers, put a water trap underneath of it and you've got yourself a raid farm. It's not a fancy trident killing, high efficiency, you know, end game type of farm. This is just a basic way of getting all the drops out of it if you don't want to have to do any of the work for it. Yeah, there we go. Come on, get him. You'll knock him into run. Yeah. So yeah, that's my little how-to. If you can dig a trench and put a water bucket down, you can make a raid farm. Have a good day.